Thank you for watching this video and studying math with us. Today's topic is dividing decimal numbers. We're going to learn processes for dividing a decimal by a whole number, dividing a number by a decimal, estimating the answer when dividing by decimals, and using the order of operations. Now, as always, there's a lot of good information in your book, and this is the recipe for dividing decimals by whole numbers. You write the decimal point in the quotient, the answer, directly above the decimal point in the dividend. And then you divide as if both numbers were whole numbers. But if you are dividing by a decimal number, you have to move the decimal point to a new location to make that a whole number. And then you do the same thing with the dividend, and you write the quotient directly above the new decimal point. And note that moving the decimal points the same number of places in both the divisor and the dividend do not change the answer. Another thing that remains the same is the order of operations. So we continue to do parentheses first, exponents next, multiply and divide from left to right as we run across them, and add and subtract proceeding from left to right. Let's do some examples. Here's our first example. We're taking a whole number into a decimal number, a number with a decimal. So the decimal point in our answer is going to be right above the decimal point there. So 8 goes into 50 6 times, and that's going to be a 48, and that is going to be 24. 8 goes into 24 3 times, and so the answer to our problem is 6.3 because we've reached a zero remainder. Now let's look at a different problem. This one will be 1F in the problems that we're looking at. Now here you're dividing a decimal number by a decimal number, so we have to move the decimal point. So we have to move that to make that into a 22, and that means we moved one place, so we have to move one place here, and that is where the decimal point is going to be above in our answer. So now we will proceed to do this. So what will happen is that we will get 7 as that quotient. We get 4 and we get 1, and that is 15, and we subtract, and we will have 4, 1, 43. We will do, we can't do 7, so we have to do 6. And so 6 times that would be 2. Carry my 1 is this. And I subtract again, and I get 11. I bring down the 0 now, which is up here. I brought down the 3 previously. And so this will go in here exactly 5 times. And so the answer to this is 76.5. Now, the next example that we're going to do involves the order of operations. Now, when we look at this, the very first thing we have to do is divide 11.4 by 7.5. Let's do that. 11.4 is inside and 7.5 is outside. So I move the decimal point one place here, I move the decimal point one place here. There is where the decimal point will be in my answer. So 75 will go into 114 exactly one time, and then we're going to subtract, and we get 9 and we get 3, and we now bring down one of these zeros. And now we're saying how many times does 75 go into that, and we're going to get 5, and that is going to be 5. Carry the 2 is this, and now we will subtract, and we will get 5 and 15. Bring down another 0, and we'll have that it goes in there 2 times, and we'll multiply, and that is the answer for that portion. So now we have 25.1 plus 1.52 and times 3.75. Well, the next thing we do is we multiply these two to see what we have. So this is 1.52, 3.75, and this was the previous lecture. So what we're going to get is 750, and now 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, that is going to be 37, carry the 3, that is going to be 18, and then our next thing is just a 1, so it's going to be 375. We will add these, and we will have this, this. We're carrying a 1, that'll make that into a 20. We'll carry the 2, that'll make that into 17, and we get that. And we mark off 4 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll have 5.7 for that piece, and now we will be adding 25.1 to 5.70, and our answer should be 30.8. Final answer. The last example we're going to look at is a guy is driving his car, and originally he was at 8,100 miles. The odometer read this at the end of his trip, so he traveled 360 miles and burned 15.5 gallons of gas. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide 15.5 to find his gas mileage into 360. And there's the decimal point. I move it 1 place here. That means I move it 1 place here. So what's going to happen then is I'm going to say this is going to go into here 2 times, and that is going to be 0, carry a 1, and that is 310. So I will subtract to get 500, and this will go into this 3 times, and there's where the decimal point now resides. 3 times that is going to be 5, carry a 1 is 6. And carrying the 1 again is that. I will subtract, I will get 3, 5, and I will bring down another 0. And so this is going to be similar to that. So what we're going to do is we get a 2 again, and that is going to be 310 again, and now we will get a 40 as a remainder. I bring down the next 0, and I look at this and I say how many times does this go into that, and I'm going to see that again it's going to go 2. Now usually we could keep going on with this, but what will happen is we want to round this to the nearest tenth. That's what the problem says, and so the answer to this is 23.2 miles per gallon. So that is the answer to that one. Now there is a work area ahead. I want to pause the video after I show you the problems and work through all of them. The circled ones are the ones that we did, and I'll be back in a bit to show you the answer. So give these a go, please. I'm back in a bit. Here are the answers. Again, you may want to pause the video so that you can check your answers. And there is a little bit of rounding that's going on down here with some of the answers, so be aware of that. And the smart student is going to want to read their book and do additional problems. But for now, time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math. It will make you strong. See you in class. Take care. Bye.